Hello and welcome to the Virtual Racing League, live tonight from Daytona International Speedway. This is the regular season finale, and drivers are trying to climb their way into the top 12 and advance into the playoffs. Who will it be making into the final 12? We'll have to wait 110 laps to find out. There are 4 spots still open and available to drivers to qualify in, and there are a few more drivers than that going to try and fill those spots. So we'll take a look at the points here in a few moments. But do want to thank you for joining us tonight on V-Speed. This is the regular season finale, race 18 of 25. We'll have a week off next week and then jump right into the playoffs after that. For 7 races to see who wins the championship. Tonight's race, though, 110 laps, right at 275 miles. There is going to be a stage on lap number 25, and then they'll race it out to the end from there. So it should be a good one. There could be some strategy that comes into play with when you pit, who you pit with, how many tires you take, and so on and so forth. Smaller field this evening, should be around 20 drivers, but that means we should be clean and green for the majority of it. You're going to have to hit your marks perfectly to make sure you're around your teammates there at the end. But let's take a look at the standings as we enter into tonight's race. Bringing them up right now. AJ Stravato, your points leader coming into tonight. By nature of Connor Horn not being there last week. Connor with his 5 wins this season, though, definitely the most dominant driver. But he has missed 2 races. And still right there in the hunt, 18 points behind AJ Stravato. And those two are clearly out in front. Alec Martinez with his race win in week number 1. In third, Adam Cabot, 3 victories this season. Really a breakout year for the Magic Man, number 77. Keith Maotto, 2 victories. He won last week at the Daytona Road Course right here 1 week ago. Yusuf Ghali still seeking win number 1. Dylan Parker is well looking for a victory. Jeff Wright, a winner at Sonoma earlier this season, actually led the points but missed quite a few races. But either way, he has qualified into the playoffs. Mark Emerson, Safe Ferris, Elliott Butler, Jeremiah Vincent, the top 12. Safe, though, I believe, not going to be running in any more of these races, so he will fall out. And one of these guys on the outside looking in going to try and make it up there in the top 12. Angelo Ronas, Garrett Kite, Greg Wellen, the only 3 outside that still have a shot to point their way in. Zach Halpern being eliminated after last week's race, 71 points out. Just a few too many to climb up in there. Jeremy Miller, Eddie Trejo, Eric Hutton, Joe Stafford all out by nature of their points. Eric with the win, and a couple drivers there with stage wins, so some of those playoff points that would have been available to other drivers, not going to be available due to those guys capturing them throughout the season. But that is how they stack up. 4 spots available, 7 drivers trying to find their way in. We'll see who it is at the end of the race. As we head to qualifying, looks like Jeremy Miller is on track. Let's pull up the ticker to see where your favorite drivers are going to end up on the starting grid. We'll see if anybody starts from the back here tonight at Daytona, a popular strategy. New paint schemes on track here for Yusuf Ghali. Not sure if there's anybody else. I think Bailey Turner, no, he's running his traditional one. I think the number 6 of Elliott Butler, yeah, he's got a bit of an inverted scheme. We're used to seeing the Dr. Pepper car on track, but instead sporting the Lawn Tech number 6. Looking very similar to what you'd see on the 24 or on the 77. And you'll see drivers run towards the outside wall on lap number 1 to carry as much momentum as they can. And then lap number 2, they'll stick it right down there next to the double yellow line. As right now, riding with Elliott Butler. We'll see what kind of a lap time he gets in here early on. About half the drivers are on track. The other half still waiting to go out there. Some drivers really sandbagging it here as well, just trying to get a lap time in, but start from the back. As at the line so far, Yusuf Ghali with a time of 48.4. There goes Elliott with a 48.4 as well. Jeremy Miller, 48.8. Sometimes slower is better on lap number 1. Jeremy, who's going to be joining the Below the Double Yellow Racing League on Tuesday nights, coming up in the future. He actually ran very well in the practice race last night at Nashville Super Speedway, as so far Dylan Parker fastest, but working lap number 2 right now. Maybe he used all his speed on lap 1. We'll see what he does here across the line the next time. Yusuf Ghali now at 47.9. That is lap number 2 for him. Waiting for other drivers to cross. Jeremy Miller now to the top of the board, a 47.85. Elliott Butler, 47.91. Joe Stafford completes his with a 48 flat. Dylan Parker goes to second now, and you will see some names jumping around. Bailey Turner to second, 5/1000ths off the pole time of Jeremy Miller. Adam Cabot, the Magic Man, on lap number 2 right now, still trying to improve. We'll see what he does on the second one. Keith Mayato also on track, I believe. I'm not exactly sure. One lap in, and he ran a 49 flat. Angelo Ronis out on the speedway right now, trying to improve for lap number 2. Here comes Cabot towards the start-finish line, using that apron, a 47.80. And that'll be good for pole temporarily. We'll see if Angelo can beat that time. Only he and potentially Jeremiah Vincent. Here comes Jeremiah down the back straightaway. A 47.90 already his time on the board. I'm not sure if he's already completed his second lap, but he's still up to speed. Angelo Ronis completing lap number 2, a 48 flat. Not the lap that I'm sure he wanted. Here comes Jeremiah down the short stretch here to the start-finish line. 15 seconds left. 47.92. Not going to be an improvement as he stays on track and continues to run around. With just a few seconds left, looks like Adam Cabot, the Magic Man, going to capture the pole for tonight's race. And as things kind of get settled out here, we do want to thank you for joining us tonight on V-Speed. Hope you enjoy tonight's broadcast. And comment if you're out there, cheer on your favorite driver. Let us know you're watching, who you're rooting for, who you think's going to win. And we will try and follow along with them throughout the race. As now drivers getting settled onto the starting grid. Take a look at where your favorite drivers are starting in tonight's race. Adam Cabot capturing the pole. The Magic Man, number 77, with a 47.80. Half a tenth quicker than the next fastest qualifier, and Alec Martinez, who jumped up to second late in the going there. Rolling off from the third position, going to be Jeremy Miller at number 30 car. Bailey Turner rolling off from fourth. Fifth will be Dylan Parker. Sixth will be Garrett Kite. Seventh, Zach Halpern in the number 7. Jeremiah Vincent going to be starting in 8th. Yusuf Ghali starting in 9th. Elliott Butler going to be rounding out the top 10 on the grid. In 11th, it's Ryan Shelton. 12th is Jeff Wright. 13th, Joe Stafford. 14th, Angelo Ronis. 15th, Keith Mayato. 16th, Connor Horn. 17th, AJ Stravato, first of the drivers to not take a time. Ben Bafford starting in 18th. Greg Wellen rolling off 19th. Mark Emerson going to be starting in 20th. 21st will be Caleb Hattery. 22nd, Eddie Trejo. Rounding out the field tonight will be Lane Sulfridge in 23rd. As drivers getting ready to roll off here for the regular season finale. Take a look at our track conditions in tonight's race. 73-degree air temp, 76-degree track temp. So should be nice and grippy for these guys. And it will only get a little bit cooler as the sun starts to set. We got Reggie in chat saying Daytona. Doesn't know why, but everybody loves this track, and the World Center of Racing, at least it's the American Center of Racing, and an incredibly historic facility. As the field rolling now, Cabot leading them on their pace lap here. Racing the lap 25 tonight. Top 8 drivers will earn stage points. Winner of the stage earning a playoff point. So it's going to be important for those drivers who are in the playoffs to race for that point. The field working down the backstretch. Waiting to get going. What a great season it's been. Some crazy moments, some huge clutch moments as well from some of these drivers. We've seen kind of comers and goers in races. We've seen people rising to the occasion, and maybe we'll see a little bit more of that tonight. Daytona International Speedway to close out the regular season. Could be crazy, could be chaotic. Hopefully we see some good green flag racing action. Pace truck rolling off onto pit lane. We're about to get going. Adam Cabot, Alec Martinez, green flag in the air. We're underway from Daytona. Adam Cabot out in front, leading down the back straightaway. Drivers already trying to settle out which line they want. Here goes Cabot, going to go to block the inside. Here comes Alec Martinez charging back on the outside through 3 and 4. Side by side, about 5 rows deep. But out in front, it is Adam Cabot looking to try and lead lap number 1. Jeremy Miller on his bumper. Not going to be able to jump outside and take the lead away. It'll be Cabot at the line. Lap 1 in the books. The field working down the short stretch here into turn number 1. The inside lane definitely dominant at the moment as the top 5 have all cleared the outside lane. That's Zach Halpern right there in behind Garrett Kite. Here comes Jeremiah Vincent, Yusuf Ghali, and others trying to find their way forward, but Alec Martinez dropping like a rock. Behind him, it's the 24 of Bailey Turner and the 48 of Jeff Wright, also in a new paint scheme, another Lawn Tech machine. And the inside definitely consuming most of these cars. There's only a couple more stragglers up there now. That's Alec Martinez, and then another one a bit farther back. I think Caleb Hattery up there. Jeremy Miller now jumping to the outside, but he's got no support and not able to get out in front. Maybe just trying to get a little bit of clean air to the nose there. He gets a bump back to the 77, and now down the back straightaway. Still 2 cars up high. Everybody else down low. It'll be interesting to see if they can make it on fuel for this first stage. I don't know what the fuel load is tonight, but 25 laps is usually enough. Ooh, and Yusuf Ghali trying to get down low on Jeremiah Vincent. Jeremiah leaving some space there, but Yusuf backs out of it. Not going to try and take advantage at the moment. Could have forced the issue, but it is just lap number 4. Through 1 and 2. Everybody single file now. So conservative for the moment, but now we see some cars spread out. Who's that jumping up high? That looks like it could be Joe Stafford, possibly. I think the 57. Yeah, he jumped up to the high lane. Now we see drivers. This is very interesting. They're kind of rolling all over the place. Cars now going to the outside. Zach Halpern leading the way. He's got Yusuf Ghali behind him. And then another machine tucked in behind him. That is going to be the 74. Trying to see who that was. Oh, that is Ryan Shelton. Should be scored as the number 10, but showing 74 on that car, the fake stake machine. If you have not seen The Crew, the Netflix show, NASCAR-based show, that car is pretty much from that show. I have not seen that on iRacing yet, so interesting, but pretty good show. I enjoyed it. It's Zach Halpern leading this outside groove, but really not a lot of momentum for those two. Now just he and Ghali up there, but here go a few more cars now. That is Elliott Butler, who jumped up high. Behind him, it's the 24 of Bailey Turner, another Lawn Tech machine there of Jeff Wright. So 3 Lawn Tech cars. Looking pretty good out there. That metallic green, blacks, and silvers. And that's not even all of them in the field tonight. That is it's pretty cool to see those guys supporting that group. Oh, and Jeff Wright getting down in front of Zach Halpern. That could have been messy there. Here goes Yusuf, going to try and shoot the outside, the third lane. 3 wide for the moment. Just trying something out there, I think. Not going to be able to make it stick to the outside. He'll drop back in line now, single file again. You'll see the drivers really will have to build momentum, and we've got a car off the lead group. That is Greg Wellen, who won at iRacing Super Speedway. Kind of a similar track in terms of how you would race at a super speedway like that. But right now, about 5 seconds off of Mark Emerson, who's currently last in the lead group. So Greg will probably stay on the lead lap with such a short stage. But he is going to be very close to going a lap down. If he does, he may just get the lucky dog anyways. Take a look at our points leaders, though. Connor Horn back here in 17th. Started in 16th, but he has not tried to move forward at all. And AJ Stravato started 17th. He's actually lost 2 spots now to 19th. Right between them, Keith Mayato among these drivers. That is 9 wins in the first 17 races. So kind of a power group back here, hanging outside the top 15. We also have Lane Sulfridge, Eddie Trejo, Mark Emerson back here. Now AJ looks to go to the outside. I don't think he's going to be able to make that work. Eddie Trejo and Emerson go with him, but you can see how much momentum he loses just there through 1 and 2. He'll drop back low. That leaves the 21 and the 22 up high. Meanwhile, at front, Adam Cabot still showing the way. Jeremy Miller behind him, Dylan Parker, Garrett Kite, Jeremiah Vincent, the top 5. Sometimes the handling can get a bit iffy in these cars on the longer runs too. You'll actually see tire wear with kind of this newer tire model. Let's take a look from the 24 of Bailey Turner, see what he's got going on inside. Right now riding behind, that is Elliott Butler, Joe Stafford, Zach Halpern in front of him. See the draft here down into turn number 3, though. He closes up a ton as the top 2 go to the top lane. Trying something a little bit different, but Cabot showing the way, pulling Jeremy Miller with him. There's a few more cars a little farther back. All the Lawn Tech machines up on the top groove. one leading the race. The rest of them trailing a bit farther behind, but they're trying to make something happen. Dylan Parker now looking to go up to the high side, but he thinks better of that. Going to stick low, try and get alongside Jeremy Miller if he can. And look at that, all those cars up on the high side. A huge draft down the back straightaway. Jeremy Miller going to try and go low. 77 throws the block. Oh, they're stacking up 20, the 48 of Jeff Wright in the wall. But hangs onto it and nobody else gets into him. That was a very close moment. Let's go back and see how that started. It was really the 77 throwing that block. I think somebody tried to go with him. Oh, it was just a bunch of net code right there between the 8, the 3, and the 48. And now Jeff Wright kind of dropping like a rock. He is already back to 18th. And he'll have to get that damage repaired under the stage break. Like Mark Emerson maybe starting to make some moves. He's up to 16th. Gotten around Connor Horn, AJ Stravato, and Keith Mayato, who were in front of him previously, and right now in behind Ben Bafford, Caleb Hattery, and Alec Martinez. As this lead group, the top 8, very nicely single file, and now we've got a couple more. Yusuf Ghali, Zach Halpern now catching back up. Yusuf looks to the outside. He'll slow it up through 1 and 2. Look at this run here, though. They stack up behind Elliott. And now everybody, once again, nose to tail. Mark Emerson looking high. Can't make that move work with no help. Here comes Connor and AJ. AJ will jump up high. Mark not going to go with him, but there goes Angelo Ronas, Caleb Hattery, Alec Martinez. Look at the draft here from the 33. That is absolutely crazy with the big checkup down low. He slingshots around 3 or 4 cars. But now the momentum is going to die, and we did see moves up towards the front, the 6, the 24. Challenging on the high groove. Bailey Turner featuring a bit of a meme there on the back. The only thing more important than family is a green lawn, and that must be the motto for Lawn Tech, as they are sticking together like family. We've seen them drafting using that high groove, and right now the lead car, a Lawn Tech machine of Adam Cabot. We've seen that sponsor on that car all season long, and they have brought it out in full force here tonight at Daytona to cap off the regular season. Cabot looking for his 4th victory, and what a breakout year it would be. No wins last season or the year before, and 3 so far at very unique racetracks this year, being Nashville, Darlington, and Rockingham. Trying to think of that one, not North Wilkesboro, but Rockingham. And Cabot, just a really great season. Currently leading here at Daytona, 15, now 16 laps into it. He and Jeremy Miller have been stuck together like glue, and now the outside getting a bit of a run. They've got AJ Stravato and Eddie Trejo in the mix. And there goes Jeremy Miller up high. 77 can't throw the block just yet, but that will stack him up a little bit in both lanes. Now Jeremy Miller going to pull the advantage down into turn number 3, but here comes Cabot fighting back on the inside. Ooh, a little side draft there. Close racing action for the race lead. A bit of a wiggle from Cabot. The inside trying to get gathered back up. Looks like Jeremy Miller will take the lead at the line, though. Does he drop down in front, or does he stay up there and keep the 24 behind him? Now Bailey Turner makes the move. He'll go to the inside and leave the 30 there to dry. And now, oh, big check up there, 24. I don't know if he put the brakes on or what happened, but he lost a ton of speed down there in the inside groove, and that stacked everybody up, maybe even some damage on the 77. Definitely damage on the 24. And here goes Dylan Parker. He'll jump to the high side now and try and get some momentum going. As though they are all shuffling lanes. Nobody's staying put where they are. Less than 10 to go for the stage. And it is getting very antsy up at the front of the pack. Dylan Parker, really good momentum up high. He's got Garrett Kite right there behind him. Jeremy Miller as well. And big run down the back straightaway for the outside groove. They'll pull even with the 24 of Bailey Turner and 77 of Cabot, who will take a little bit of an advantage through 3 and 4. But if they can stay organized in this high groove, they might be able to get it to work. Here comes a big run right now. The 8 of Garrett Kite giving a big shove to Dylan Parker. And you can see right there just how much speed they gain down the straightaway. As the 3 of Parker now with the advantage. And side by side, about 5 rows deep. Everybody else single file behind them. Kind of a second group hanging back here. That is Angelo Ronis leading that one with Zach Halpern, Alec Martinez, Ben Bafford, Mark Emerson also back here. Connor Horn at the tail end of that second group. And then Keith Maiato leading a third 3-car group. And it looks like Jeff Wright and Greg Wellen have both lost the draft. 15 and 27 seconds back, respectively. But at the front, Bailey Turner led at the line, but dead even. Here is Dylan Parker with a huge shove down into turn number 1. Oh, and Dylan actually gets clear. He's going to go to the inside. He'll abandon Garrett up there in the high side, but that could be a mistake. It'll be 5 laps to go in the stage. Sometimes that outside line prevails in the very end of things. But here comes Yusuf Gali, going to go 3 wide. Tucks back in line. Dylan Parker leads across the stripe. 5 laps remaining here in stage number 1. Who's going to get that playoff point? The 3 and the 8 teammates, I believe. Trying to look at the points, see if either of them have any playoff points. Dylan Parker does not. Garrett Kite does not. But neither of those drivers with playoff points. That one would be pretty valuable in Garrett racing to find his way into the playoffs. Dylan already locked in. But you know, they both want to earn as many points as they can right here. And there goes Garrett with the advantage. He'll drop down to the inside. Jeremy Miller going to try and move past him on the outside. And he may just do that. Looks like he leapfrogged him just like that. Yusuf Gali now to the lead of the outside groove. Caleb Hattery, Jeremiah Vincent. Elliott Butler up there on the high side. And that is the 24. Bailey Turner dropping to the apron. He'll come back up onto the racetrack, but not before he gets passed up by quite a few drivers. Jeremy Miller now out in front. The top 5 single file. Jeremiah Vincent drops in line. Caleb Hattery's the lone car up high with now Eddie Trejo trailing him. Stravato jumps to the outside, tucks back down. He's just trying to see who's willing to go with him here in these last few laps. But Stravato is charged all the way from the back of the pack, now up to the top 5. And waiting to make that move, perhaps in the last couple of laps. Connor Horn, championship contender, all the way back in 18th, may not capitalize on any stage points. That could hand Stravato the regular season championship. But here goes Garrett Kite now to the point. Coming back to 2 to go. And it is the 8 with a push from the 3 of Dylan Parker side by side across the line. 2 laps remaining in stage number 1. It has been crazy. Double wide racing action all stage long. And we are now side by side, 5 rows deep, 6 rows deep maybe. And it is Garrett Kite leading the way. Dylan Parker up high. Down the backstretch. Garrett now moves down low. Dylan up high. Oh, big wiggle there. 77 of Cabot going to turn the 3. They're trying to hang on to it. Big hit into the wall. A lot of these leaders. Yellow flag flies. And that is bad news for a couple of drivers, but great news for Garrett Kite, as that should end the stage right there. We'll see how they cross the line. That should be the end of the stage. Garrett Kite, Jeremy Miller, Caleb Hattery, AJ Stravato, Yusuf Gali, Angelo Rona, Zach Halper, and Alec Martinez, the top 8. Let's go back and take a look at what happened. Looked like a bad push from the 77 of Adam Cabot started things off right there, and a lot of drivers paying the price. Yeah, just an off-center push in the middle of the corner. They hook bumpers. 3 goes into Stravato, and it was looking so good for AJ, who was able to pretty much hang on to it there. What a save by him, but huge damage for other drivers like Jeremiah Vincent, Adam Cabot. Let's go back here and take another look at who was involved. The 3, the 77, the 33, the 9, the 6, the 74, the 29, the 21, the 3, man, big damage for a few of those guys. Garrett Kite, though, basically the best situation he could be in. Out in front during all of that. You can't forget the point situation coming in. He is 29 points out entering tonight's race, but he just got quite a few of them right there and the playoff point. And 2 of the drivers, actually 3 of the drivers in front of him, in Angelo Ronas, Jeremiah Vincent, and Elliott Butler, big damage in that wreck. Yeah, quite a few drivers on pit lane right now. Top 7 have remained on the racetrack. Alec Martinez exiting the pit lane. Looks like he took 4 tires. Bailey Turner as well. Caleb Hattery, Joe Stafford, Greg Wellen, Mark Emerson. Emerson getting a little bit of damage repaired. Doesn't look too bad on that car. Ben Baffert as well. I think maybe got just a touch of damage. But Cabot, long stop there, as well as Zach Halpern. A long stop for him. Jeff Wright. That car looks reasonably okay. Dylan Parker still sitting on pit road. His night could be over. Ryan Shelton also heavily involved. Elliott Butler. Mayato rolling off of pit road. Connor Horn as well now just gets going. So Horn and Mayato have kind of a similar opinion here. I think kind of hang towards the back, try and avoid the chaos like we just saw. As here come the race leaders down pit road. Not sure how this is going to work out. Alec Martinez already stopped. He's at the front of the pack. So maybe some confusion as to when pit road opened. Either way, we'll try and get a word in with Garrett Kite as he exits the pit lane. We'll try and talk with him here once he gets back onto the racetrack. Garrett, Adam in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
I do.
Well, Garrett, you come into this race on the outside looking in terms of playoff position, but a stage win there definitely going to help you out quite a bit. Some of your closest contenders involved in that one. What's the goal here for the rest of this race?
Well, it was a sprint there to the stage, so up there in the front the whole time. But I'll probably just try to keep the car clean because we have another like 100 laps, almost like 80 something. So I'll just keep the car clean.
Yeah, 83, I think, when you get going. But definitely a strong car out there. We saw you and Dylan kind of juggling the lead there. Jeremy was in the mix. What was it like racing up there at the front?
This new aero package is added it's changed up a lot how these things usually go from just the side drafting and how you get runs and everything. It's so much different. So it was interesting trying to figure out like what to do and when to pull out and stuff like that. So it was interesting.
Yeah, definitely pretty crazy looking up there. But you survive the mess behind you and end up winning that stage. So congrats on that. And good luck rest of the way.
Thank you.
All right, that was Garrett Kite, winner of stage number 1. And looking to survive stage number 2 here. That is always the goal at these places. So doing as much as he can, though, to try and get up in the top 12. And it'll be Bailey Turner at the front of the field. And Caleb Hattery, Joe Stafford, Jeff Wright, Mark Emerson, the top 5, Mayato 6th. We saw quite a few drivers dive back down pit road, led by Alec Martinez. And they're just trying to top off on fuel. So we'll see how they get rolling here on this restart. Few cars still trying to catch up to the tail end of the field. But we knew it'd get crazy around that stage. A lot of guys fighting for those points, and turns out one of the guys in need of those points the most ended up getting them. And some of the other guys who needed them as well, they got knocked out of points-paying positions. But it'll only be 3 cars. Oh, here comes Bailey Turner to pit road late here before the restart. That's going to shake tons of things up as everybody's stacking up towards the middle of the field. Joe Stafford gets him rolling, but Caleb Hattery straight to the lead on that high side. He's got a huge push from Jeff Wright trying to clear the 57. Mayato up there in the mix as well. But that was definitely a weird restart with the 24 pulling off late in the going. I'm not sure why he did that, unless he had a pit road penalty that he had to serve. But rolling slowly through pit road. And now finally gets rolling again. There's the 3 of Dylan Parker behind. But right now, out in front, it is Joe Stafford. Driver comes into this race and 20th in points. Looking for a little confidence booster. Right now, he's out in front here at Daytona. Mark Emerson, Jeremy Miller behind him. Garrett Kite, Keith Mayato, Lane Sulfridge, Eddie Trejo, Alec Martinez, Yusuf Gali, and AJ Stravato all in the top 10. Caleb Hattery dropping like a rock. He was all the way at the front. Now he finds himself 13th in front of Zach Halpern and Connor Horn. Alec Martinez now looks to the outside lane. Eddie Trejo down low as they are approaching Joe Stafford, who's lost the lead. Now Mark Emerson's taking it over. Looking on board here from AJ Stravato as they go 3 wide for a moment. AJ caught a little piece of that damage. You see the back end really crushed in there. Doesn't seem to be affecting the speed in that car all that much. But if he was to get some clean air, it would definitely be a bit of a parachute for him, especially that right front. Meanwhile, in terms of clean air, Mark Emerson's got all of it. Nobody to his outside. He's got Jeremy Miller right there behind him. Jeremy's been right up at the front all race long. Garrett Kite back to third. Otto in fourth. Keith in an unusual situation where he's got no teammates out here. Everybody else has some teammates they're working with, so Keith kind of the lone ranger here, trying to navigate through all this and find himself towards the front here a third of the way through. As everybody's single file trying to log some laps. We've got 4 cars off the lead lap. Bailey Turner also pretty slow back here. We saw him bring it down pit road. Didn't actually stop in his box. And Dylan Parker a little ways in front of him. I think these two trying to get together so they can draft. 3 and the 24 right now about 5 seconds in front of the race leader. As they will try and get synced up. Bit of a brake drag there. Maybe trying to do the leapfrog effect. But right now it is not working. They're still about 3 or 4 seconds a lap slower. And the leaders closing in rapidly. This is the look from Mark Emerson as he makes his way down the backstretch. Those 2 lap cars, while still on the lead lap, are not too far off in the distance, and they're going to race hard once they get back into this group to try and be that lucky dog or try and get back in front of the leaders. The heavy damage on really both cars could hinder them greatly. And another car on the apron now. That looks like Adam Cabot joining the modified division on pit road for almost 3 minutes. Now 4 laps down. And here comes Bailey Turner up behind him in the other Lawn Tech machine. Let's see if the 77 can latch on. I think he's going to have too much damage, though. And the leaders not far behind. They will close up on the 77 in a hurry. The 3 of Dylan Parker, though, the first obstacle, as now Eddie Trejo looking to the outside. He goes all the way up by the wall. We'll see how they navigate the lap machines as the lap cars will stay low. And actually, the leader's trying to split them. That is Adam Cabot slow up high. Dylan Parker not quite as slow, but down there on the inside. And they all clear them so far, but this can get pretty dicey. Welcome, Josh. We're here racing at Daytona in the Virtual Racing League regular season finale. Drivers trying to earn their way into the playoffs. One of those drivers, Mark Emerson, not locked in on points, but in a pretty good spot right now. I think he came in 50 or so above the cut. And he is leading this race. 36 goes up on the board. Pretty much single file here. Some lap cars intermixed. As Bailey Turner actually kind of settles in right around the 4th position. That car, I don't think has all that much damage. I'm not sure why he came down pit road like that. Not sure if we can get some clarification from race control, but here goes Yusuf Ghali. Alec Martinez behind him. Travato thought about it, but drops back down low. And Jeff Wright right there with him. Greg Wellen now up here in the top 10 as well. But Eddie Trejo, Caleb Hattery going to look to the outside. Mayato's been shuffled back a few spots. He was in 4th and now back to 11th. But he has been hanging more towards the rear with Connor and some of these other drivers. But now Connor and Zach look to the outside of Dylan Parker, who is a lap down. Joe Stafford, who restarted and was leading, is currently the last car in this group. Second to last car on the lead lap is Angelo Ronis, currently 30 or 24 seconds behind. Has lost the draft. He's got some heavy right side damage from that wreck. Pretty well single file at the moment. Nobody really trying to make any moves. Still a long way to go. It looks like Adam Cabot did bring it back down pit road. I think the engine may have expired in the number 77. Here comes Dylan Parker after a pit stop. Or actually, it looks like he might be stopping in his box now. There we go. Starting service on his car. And the 9 of Jeremiah Vincent back on track, 8 laps down, also in the modified division, just trying to get as many points as he can. Came into the race, first car above the cut line, only 20 points up. But Angelo Ronis also involved in that one. He's the last car in the lead lap in 17th, so not a lot of points gained necessarily over Jeremiah. Back up at the front though, still single file for this lead pack. We're going to go to a quick side-by-side commercial break. We will be right back.
We've been waiting for this moment. Generations of innovation all coming together in one place. A pedigree of more than 70 years of NASCAR Cup Series history, from the past to the present. From Petty to Earnhardt to Elliott. Today, there's no more waiting. The future of NASCAR is now. Drive the next-gen cars today on iRacing and step into the next generation of racing.
Welcome to V-Speed, your home for sim racing excitement, providing dramatic moments from iRacing and beyond. We offer broadcasting for leagues across iRacing with specialized packages to help grow your league and advertise your sponsors.
Shot at it, I think, and right now Stravato with that advantage. It's half a car length the difference between first and second going into turn 1. He gives the bumper to Connor Horn.
These two have gone all year to get to this point. Jacob Shorba drifting up the racetrack. They make contact. The 88 goes around. The 95 goes around. The 12 caught in it.
Our design team can help you create anything from paint schemes to sim rig parts with expertise in both 2D and 3D design with 3D printing capabilities. Looking to get into broadcasting yourself? We can help you design and operate custom overlays to make your stream look as professional as possible. Our team can create and manage custom merchandise sales for you and your team. Check out our shop to see what we have in stock and how we can create some awesome merch for you. Check out our race replays on YouTube or catch us live weekly on Twitch. Visit us at vspeedsim.com to see how we can help you on your iRacing journey.
Back at the racetrack now, Mark Emerson showing the way. It's Jeremy Miller, Garrett Kite, AJ Stravato, and Yusuf Ghali up here in the top 5. We've also got Bailey Turner in the mix, but he is a lap down. And everybody pretty much managing to stay single file, clean racing for most of this race, excluding that moment coming towards the end of stage number 1. The leader's set to put a lap on Angelo Ronis, who will stay out of the way, and another car right in front of these guys. That's going to be Jeremiah Vincent, slow up there by the outside wall. Servato peaks wide, trying to get some clean air to the nose of that 33 car. Right there in front of him, it is the 24 of Bailey Turner, that lap machine. And they stack up a little bit up there, and it looked like Yusuf Ghali was maybe going to make a move. They stay single file. Looking on points leader, AJ Servato, who started 17th. He's now been in the top 5 for quite a bit of this. So he's running around the back for the first 15 to 20 laps and then made his way forward. Involved in that wreck, but not all that bad, as he is still up to speed with the top 10. Working across the stripe, it has been around 20 laps on this run. Some drivers elected to pit late under the yellow flag. They'll have an extra lap of fuel, or extra half lap or so. But zooming past us there, 195 down the backstretch. We'll see how fast they are down into the corner. 197 registering on the clock there. And when these guys are really pushing it, they're about a second a lap faster than they're running right now. They'll hit speeds in excess of 200 miles an hour. But right now, just taking their time, not even at halfway. And 16 drivers left on the lead lap. Bailey Turner, first car 1 lap down, just a few car lengths behind the leader. Angelo Ronis also a lap down and fading quickly. That car really hurt from the first wreck. Jeremiah Vincent also out here 9 laps down running. Adam Cabot still in pit lane getting repairs completed. As Jeremiah Vincent actually bringing it back down pit road. He may have lost the engine in that car, as he'll pull into his box. We'll see if he gets back out on track. But right now, nobody's really mixing it up. They're all staying single file, and who can blame them? Long, long ways to go yet in this one. Interesting case here with Joe Stafford, how he restarted up front. He dropped all the way to the back of this pack. Eddie Trejo starting to lose a little bit of ground to these guys too. He's got to be very careful to not lose the draft, or he would be in danger of losing a lap in no time, really. We'll see pit stops probably in the next 10 laps, maybe 10 to 15 laps, depending on how far they can go on fuel. We got going again around lap 28, 27, I think. And many of these drivers 21 to 23 laps on the tank and on the tires. A lot of great racing there in stage number 1, though. It was definitely competitive. And now Mark Emerson is just taking control of this thing, and that 22 showing some great speed out in front. Nobody's challenging him at the moment. Nobody's really trying to move to the outside. But one to keep an eye on, that's that 33 of Stravato. Also the 54 of Yusuf Ghali. Those guys not afraid to make moves. How about Greg Wellen? He had lost the pack in stage number 1, but up here in the mix now in the top 10. I think Jeff Wright had also lost the pack, and he's in 7th right now. So stage 1 didn't matter for those guys as much. Greg Wellen, though, he needs as many points as he can get at the end of this race. We'll see where he ends up when it's all said and done. He comes into tonight's race well on the outside of the cut line. It's 30 points for him, and so he will need a fantastic showing right now. About 11 spots in front of Jeremiah Vincent, so every point over the number 9 that he can get will help out his case. And also with Safe Fair is not going to be running for the rest of the season as far as we know. That spot is going to open up. Single file, everybody minding their P's and Q's. We'll just wait to see when they bring it down pit lane. I think they're all just going to wait until then, and that is really going to break things apart. As we'll see mistakes most likely. Speeding is so easy to do, getting down to pit road speed. And Connor Horn, when does he start to make the move forward? Because he is still back here outside the top 10. 14th position. And running with Zach Halpern. And the super speedways, the great equalizer, that and rain races, I think, really. As we've got cars pulling off onto pit lane. Eddie Trejo, Caleb Hattery, there's Jeff Wright, Mark Emerson bringing them down. He comes out from the lead after leading 22 laps. At 22 onto pit road. Nicely into the box there, actually. That was perfectly on the mark. And Jeremy Miller inherits the race lead. When does he bring it down, and who's going to come with him? There's still 12 cars out there on the track. And a bit of mixed strategy. It looks like mostly... Actually, yeah, it looks like 2 tire stops for all of those guys. Under 13-second pits. Here we go. A couple more cars. That's going to be Jeremy Miller. Yusuf Ghali, Keith Mayato going to try and pit with them. And he is pushing the issue, getting on the pit lane, but Jeremy Miller gives up the race lead. Now Garrett Kite will take it over, and behind him, Bailey Turner. The tail end of the lead lap, actually 1 lap down, but right behind the leader. He's going to have to figure out who to pit with, as there's Eddie Trejo, a bit slow down the backstretch. Seems to have lost the rest of the drivers who came in with him. Mark Emerson, Jeff Wright teamed up here, nose to tail. Caleb Hattery a little too far back, potentially, as now here come a few more cars. Going to be almost everybody else, as it'll be Bailey Turner leading them now down into the pit road. AJ Stravato, Garrett Kite, Alec Martinez, Lane Sulfridge, Ben Bafford, Joe Stafford, and that leaves 3 cars on the track. Greg Wellen actually taking over the lead at the line there. He's got a huge margin back to Zach Halpern and Connor Horn, who are trying to go an extra lap. We saw them do this at iRacing Super Speedway, and it nearly worked out for them. So they came up just a bit short to who other than Greg Wellen. But it looks like they're probably all going to try and pit this time. As here comes the 94, as well as the 7 and the 67. Alec Martinez would currently be the net leader, but we'll have to see as cars are up to speed closing in on these guys. And there goes Mark Emerson, Jeff Wright, Yusuf Ghali, Jeremy Miller, Mayato, Caleb Hattery. They've all now cycled down the back straightaway. They go 3 wide around the lap cars, or rather the slow cars coming off of pit road. And Yusuf Ghali trying to leapfrog up to the point, and he will run that 3rd groove. He'll clear the 22. Does he abandon Jeremy behind him? I don't know if he'll have to. Maybe they'll both clear the 22. Good run up there in that 3rd groove. Here comes the inside line back with the charge, though. Emerson, Jeff Wright, Keith Mayato, and others, as Greg Wellen, Connor Horn, and Zach Halpern all getting up to speed on the apron. They'll have to be careful not to lose the draft, as here come the leaders. Zach Halpern up the track a little bit. Going to be tough hanging on to this one. They may just lose the draft. And Joe Stafford definitely in trouble. He is way back there after a longer pit stop. Looks like the rest of these guys here took an extra 2 tires. The rest of the leaders, for the most part, took 2. There are some that took 4. But Connor Horn and Zach Halpern may be in trouble after staying out an extra lap here at the halfway point. Could lose the draft. They're going to have to work together. As Greg Wellen had a great stop there. He's currently still your race leader, but everybody else catching him very quickly. 10 miles an hour faster. They're going to blow right on by in the low side, and he is going to just stay up there on the high side. Try and find a spot to slot in the line. He might be the bridge between Connor Horn and Ben Bafford. As he will not drop in line just yet. There goes Ben right on by him. That is going to help the 67 a ton. Connor Horn and Zach Halpern. This is not where they want to be right now. This strategy could be one that bites them, even though it looked like it might have been what saved them or could have earned them a win. They're going to have to catch up to the 94 if they can get in drafting range of Greg Wellen. That might be enough to get them back up into the lead group, but otherwise they're in trouble. Yusuf Ghali out in front with Jeremy Miller, Jeff Wright, Keith Maiato, AJ Stravato, the top 5. Greg Wellen losing a bit of speed right here as well. You're that last car in the lead group, and he is fading fast for sure, and these guys not really gaining on him. Looking at speeds right now, they are a little bit faster than Greg. I think Greg just dropped out of drafting range. He might be trying to fall back and catch these guys, help them out, and maybe they can all draft up to the back of the 23, but right now all in trouble after going an extra lap. And they are losing a ton of time. Greg now about 3.5 seconds behind Ben Bafford, who's currently the last car in this 10-car lead pack. And now we've got 3 cars in a row. It looks like Connor gonna stay in line. They're not gonna try and go around, but the 94 will lead them. Connor gonna try and push them back into contention. Gotta be careful not to overheat. But right now, trying to make some good lap time. They are still about a second off the pace. But maybe with the 3rd car in line, they might be able to catch up. You have to be very intentional, very direct about what you want to do here. Communication is going to be big. I don't know if they're talking to each other over the race chat, but right now, nose to tail, making some good speed down the straightaway. That time, actually, Greg Wellen hitting 200 miles an hour. The race leader's only in the 193, 194 range, so it might be enough. And now you've got the 29 of Angelo Ronis, who is 2 laps down. He drops in behind the 23. He could also act as a bridge, maybe add another car into that drafting group. Take a look at lap times across the line. They were about 0.3 faster than the leaders. Starting to make some progress now. But this is going to be hard charging. The fuel that they saved in that first run there, it might be negated by how hard they're going to have to run to catch back up. Greg Wellen is, especially, he's going to probably feel the effects the worst. That time by, they were a 1/10 or 2 faster again, so definitely making progress. It'll be a little while, though. They might not get there until the very end of this fuel run. And at that point, we'll see where they stand. But it should be probably one more stop in 20 to 25 laps, and that'll get them to the end. Single file down the backstretch, though. Lap number 63 on the board, and it is Yusuf Ghali out in front. Let's do a quick rundown of the field, see where everybody started and where they're running. Yusuf Ghali started 9th up to 1st. Running in 2nd, that is going to be Jeremy Miller, who started in 3rd. He's led 3 laps. Jeff Wright started 12th. He's in 3rd. Keith Mayato started 15th. He's in 4th. AJ Stravato started 17th. He's in 5th. Garrett Kite started 6th. Wins stage number 1, currently 6th. Has led 5 laps. Alec Martinez led a lap, started 2nd, back in 7th. Caleb Hattery led a lap. He is in 8th after starting 21st. Mark Emerson up from 20th to 9th. He's led 22 laps. I think that's the most, other than potentially Adam Cabot. Ben Bafford up 8 spots into the top 10. Greg Wellen up 8 spots into 11th. He's led 3 laps. Connor Horn up 4 spots into 12th. Zach Halpern back 6 spots in 13th. Eddie Trejo 14th after starting in 22nd. Lane Sulfridge 15th after starting 23rd. Joe Stafford started 13th. He's led a lap. He's in 16th. Bailey Turner 1 lap down in the lucky dog spot. He's led 4 laps in 17th spot. Angelo Ronis in 18th, 2 laps down. Jeremiah Vincent, the last car on the racetrack in any capacity, and he is 27 laps down, currently in 19th. Dylan Parker led a lap. He started 5th, currently 20th, and out of the race. Adam Cabot started on the pole, led 15 laps, out of it in 21st. Ryan Shelton out of it in 22nd. Elliot Butler also off the track in 23rd. But out in front, Yusuf Ghali, Jeremy Miller, they have broken away by just a little bit over Jeff Wright, Keith Mayato, and AJ Stravato. And I don't know exactly what happened there. Did we lose somebody? No, just a big gap opened up right there. Some of these guys may be trying to save a little bit of fuel. And the top 2 definitely not saving anything right now. They are pushing hard. And here come Greg Wellen, Connor Horn, and Zach Halpern really pushing hard to try and catch up. They have cut the deficit by about a second. And the deficit up to Ben Bafford by a couple of seconds. So they are definitely closing. And they're going to be in drafting range here in probably 5 or 6 laps, and that should bring them right back into contention. But pretty calm race for the most part, other than at the very end of stage 1. That was a really wild time, but seems these guys have learned their lesson a little bit. A lot of drivers involved in that one that are still up here fighting for this win. Last time around, Greg Wellen, Connor Horn, Zach Halpern, all about the same speed as the top 10, but they didn't close up at all. But now the gap about 3 seconds to Greg Wellen, so they're definitely still making a little bit of progress. On this lap, it looks like they're closing up even more. Yeah, look at that. You can just visually see them getting closer and closer as the lead pack has gotten tighter. They're pretty much nose to tail all throughout the top 10. And we've got the lap machine of Bailey Turner in here as well. Angelo Ronis, he has lost touch with all of these lead cars. Now about another half lap behind. So this is everybody fighting for it on screen. A few stragglers a little farther back starting to close in even more. The gap now just 2.5 seconds, and they are almost within drafting range of Ben Baffert, who is right up here entering the tri-oval. And those guys just 1 second behind. So they'll start to feel the effects of the draft right around here, maybe a couple tenths closer. 1.2 at the moment is the difference. And the gap to the leaders at 2.8, now 2.9, so they've lost a little momentum this time. But these are the cars to keep an eye on. If they can't get back up in contention here before the pit cycle, then they're going to be in trouble. Well, look at these two out front. This is kind of the tandem draft that we used to see, and then a little tandem draft behind them. That is Mayato and Jeff Wright. This is kind of crazy. I have not seen tandem in iRacing, I think, ever. But look at this. These guys drafted right up behind, and the top two just lost that huge advantage. It seems you can really tandem draft with this new aero package, but I've never really seen it. And now everybody right back to nose to tail. So interesting how things work out. But now Greg Wellen, Connor Horn, they have lost touch with Zach Halpern. He's faded a little bit. Zach's got to be very careful not to lose these guys, but he might be in trouble, might have to bring it to pit lane. Yeah, this could be a problem for Zach. He is now 1.4 seconds behind Connor and fading. Losing a ton of time, might have overheated. Not exactly sure, but he is out of it right now. As now Wellen and Connor Horn back in the fight. That brings 12 cars in this lead group now. Zach Halpern dropping quickly, already 2.5 seconds back of Connor Horn down the back straightaway and continuing to lose time. Hand over fist. We'll see pit stops in 10 to 15 laps. Maybe even sooner if some of these guys are willing to cut it a bit short on this run. Pretty amazing though, 12 out of the 16 cars in this race on the lead lap are up here in the fight. But we are going to go to another quick side-by-side commercial break, and we'll be right back.
I'm Jonathan Proper, CEO of Drops.com, and I'm here to give you the naked truth about laundry. Size does not matter when it comes to laundry. Let's start with Jugs. It's big all right, messy too, and expensive. You know why? Lots of plastic, lots of water, shipped all over the country, from factory to warehouse to retailer. That's what you're paying for. It's a dinosaur, and we all know dinosaurs are extinct. Meet our imitators. This is your average detergent pod. It has 20 plus chemicals with names nobody can pronounce. Nice colors. I hope they don't stain. I know color doesn't clean. Would you take a bath in either of these? No way. That's why we developed Drops. Drops is dye-free, MPE-free, phosphate-free, animal cruelty-free. So free, it's freaking awesome. We make Drops with only 6 safe ingredients, certified by the EPA. Drops is tough on dirt, but gentle enough for baby's skin. It's so gentle, I'm taking a bath in it. Doing laundry with Drops is hard to up. 1 drop equals 1 load. Now, can we talk about my package? 100% recyclable. Manufacturing Drops ourselves and distributing directly helps us cut out the middleman and reduce transportation costs. With delivery plans as low as $4 a month, the average family can save $100 a year. Hello? What are you saying? The cleanest clothes at the lowest price? You're damn right it's a great deal. Thanks for calling. Shipping is always free. You choose the product and plan that's right for you, and we'll drop Drops at your door. The naked truth is that Drops makes laundry better and life easier. Every Drops counts, saving money, plastic, water, and time. So go to Drops.com. The first one's on us.
Back at the racetrack now, Yusuf Ghali still out in front, expecting pit stops here in the next 5 to 10 laps. We'll see drivers start to make that left-hand turn coming out of turn number 4, as we have 12 up here in the lead group, led by Yusuf Ghali, trailed by Connor Horn. Zach Halpern's already faded 16.5 seconds back and dropping fast. He'll probably join up with Eddie Trejo, Lane Sulfridge, and Joe Stafford, who currently ride about 2/3 of a lap behind. And I think there's pit stops starting already. Trejo onto pit road, as well as Joe Stafford. That's going to leave Lane Sulfridge all by himself out there. Quite a distance behind Zach Halpern, so they won't be able to get synced up at the moment. But here comes some leaders. Oh, really fast on the pit road is Yusuf Ghali. Jeremy Miller also got hard on the brakes. Jeff Wright. Looks like Connor Horn also bringing it in. And Zach Halpern, he may elect to come down this time. We'll see. But yeah, you can see the smoke from the lockups there. Now Keith Mayato takes over the race lead. The 36, his first time at the front. Winner of last week's race has had a long charge up towards the lead pack. But he has been in contention here in the top 5 for quite some time. And we'll see who dives off this lap. There goes Caleb Hattery. I think he's all by himself. And he is, so this could be an issue for the 75. He'll have to have a very efficient stop. And he'll have to get back up to speed nicely and try and join up with the leaders, or with Connor Horn in that group that just pit. And that leaves 7 cars still on track, other than Zach Halpern and Lane Sulfridge, who are much farther back. 7 cars in his lead group that have yet to bring it down. And just taking a look at stops, doesn't look like we got speeding penalties for any of those drivers who brought it in initially. I know the league does clear some pit road penalties. And here comes Mark Emerson, who led a bunch of laps there. He'll bring it down. Oh, and locking up the rear brakes a little bit. Gets it woed up, though. And Mayato will continue to lead. He's got Stravato, Garrett Kite, Alec Martinez, Ben Bafford. Greg Wellen still up here in the mix as well. Those top 6 drivers. Bailey Turner also up here, a lap down. And out in front of them, they have gotten synced up just a little bit. Looks like Caleb Hattery right behind Jeff Wright, Yusuf Ghali, Jeremy Miller, and Connor Horn. Though those guys really stuck on each other, so they're going to be in good shape, I think. But here come some of the leaders, Mayato and Stravato. Careful getting slowed up. Mayato doing a good job, very smooth on the brakes there. Stravato was struggling a little bit, but either way, cleanly onto pit road. They'll bring it into their pit boxes. Can't overshoot the box here. Trying to get a good view of those cars as they have service completed on them. Both going to take 4 tires. That's interesting. That's going to leave 4 cars still out here in front. Garrett Kite, Alec Martinez. Here comes Alec and Garrett. And Bailey Turner also going to be in with them. Greg Wellen hard on the brakes. Ben Bafford gets down to speed. So 5 cars now, and then I think Connor Horn might be in the best shape at the moment to take the race lead, as Mayato and Stravato still trying to get synced up. And then Mark Emerson, look at how far everybody is spaced out. That is just crazy. And now you've got Connor Horn, Jeremy Miller, and Yusuf Ghali, who have gapped the rest of them by a couple of seconds, but it is just a 3-car pack. If they start to build a bigger pack behind them, it may not work out for those guys. But here comes Greg Wellen getting up to speed. There's Joe Stafford, Eddie Trejo, and a few others going around them. But Greg Wellen, currently your race leader, is Alec Martinez behind him. Bailey Turner, Garrett Kite, Ben Baffert all coming off of pit road. Here go the Toyota machines to the outside. They'll take over the top spot now. Connor Horn to the race lead late in the going. It's still quite a distance yet. And they pit a little bit earlier than some of these other drivers, so they'll be at risk of being very close on fuel, especially running out here in the front like they are. Very impressed with Greg Wellen tonight, though. He was a lap, or nearly going to be a lap down towards the end of stage number 1. Now he's up here in the top 5, leading the second group. You've got Alec Martinez, Bailey Turner, Garrett Kite, and then a little ways back, Mayato and Stravato starting to get back up in the mix. And the 23 of Ben Baffert, he's still in the fight. Mark Emerson, though, not sure what happened. Just maybe a really bad outlap. But he is 4 seconds back and maybe in danger of losing the draft here. He'll have Jeff Wright and Caleb Hattery to support him from behind. Things shaken up hugely by that green flag cycle, and it's the Toyota machines out in front. Looking forward from Greg Wellen as this second group gets synced back up. We've got many cars now in this one. That is 6 cars there, and then Ben Baffert, he's lost that draft. So we're really down to 8 cars, I think, in contention. But this second group has to get caught up to these top 3 who are trying to stretch out a race lead. It's about 3 seconds to Greg Wellen. And that gap is not shrinking. It's actually still growing. Last time around, 4/10 faster for Connor Horn than Greg Wellen. So they're going to have to figure it out back here, or they are not going to be able to win this. Now a couple of lap cars in front of Connor. That could be helping them a little bit. Trying to get a few of those cars. There's 3 cars up in front. Looks like Lane Sulfur, Eddie Trejo, and Joe Stafford. I don't think those cars are heavily damaged either. I think they're just, mistakes on these pit cycles. So this will be a 6-car pack, and right now they are stretching it out 4.5 seconds back to Greg Wellen. The top 3 really pouring it on here with a little over 20 laps to go. And it looks like we may have lost a car around here. I don't actually know what happened. Greg Wellen, way out in front of the rest of these 5. He has just driven away. What happened here? I don't understand this. He is just driven away from the rest of these guys who have lost a ton of time now. It may be a fuel saving thing. I've not seen anything like this. A few lap extra, fuel here for these guys. I told you it might kind of flip-flop because of these guys pitting later. They missed the draft and they had to save a ton, they couldn't save a ton, rather, and they had to catch up to that lead group. So now they are 4 laps at a disadvantage, and this could be major. I don't know if they are going to be able to make it the way they're running right now. They're running a really fast pace, right around 200 miles an hour down the backstretch there. And they've caught up to these other cars, which would help if they stayed in line. They could draft off of them and save a bit of fuel. But Connor Horn, he could be in the worst position of all of them. Now he'll drop in line behind Joe. And I'm a bit concerned for Greg Wellen, who's continuing to run all by himself out here. Now Mark Emerson and Jeff Wright have cycled past this other group. And they must think that they're good to go on fuel. But now, after saving a little bit, looks like Alec Martinez, he'll jump to the high side. Bailey Turner, a lap down right now. He is going to try and lead this pack. There goes Alec behind him. So they're just kind of flip-flopping here, trying to save as much fuel as possible. They put the car, who's already at a disadvantage, a lap down, out in front of this group. And faded already 16 seconds back. So 20 laps to go as Connor Horn crosses the stripe. They've now pulled in front of the lap cars of Lane Sulfridge, Eddie Trejo, and Joe Stafford. But this is going to shake out entirely differently than I thought. It's going to be the lead cars at a disadvantage on fuel, but they're pulling a huge gap. They might be able to save on the tail end of the run, whereas these guys back here, 14, 18 seconds behind, are doing their saving on the front end. And we've got 6 cars in line here, all of these battling for position other than the car in front. And that is Bailey Turner, who's a lap down. But yeah, fuel strategy going to be big. We see Reggie say that there in the chat. This is, who can manage the fuel here on this last run? For the leaders, they'll have to go just over 30 laps. Now Zach Halpern, he'll go a lap down. Currently 13th. Now 14th as he gets passed up by some of these other cars. See Jeremiah Vincent, he's back on the racetrack, 50 laps down, but still trying to get as many points as he possibly can. Can't earn any more. Just out there for posterity, so he can feel better about participating here tonight. Try and complete as many laps as you can. Good attitude to have, and he might still very well make it into the top 12 in the standings. Right now, one of the contenders who is fighting to get up into the top 12 Derek Kite, he is in the 8th position. Also Greg Wellen, he's fighting to get in. He's in 4th. He's got Mark Emerson and Jeff Wright. And Angelo Ronas, he is not in a great spot right now. 18th position. He came in just 20 points out. But not looking like he's necessarily going to advance. It's going to be very close to see who makes it in. And Safe Ferries not being in. Going to shake up a lot at that cut line. But still a little ways to go. I mean, it's still 17, now coming to 16. And we don't have any idea who's going to win this thing. My money is on somebody from this group. I don't think those leaders can make it, but if they can pull enough of a lead out, they may be able to stop for a splash and go and might even still be able to hang on and win. Right now, they're about 30 seconds in front of Alec Martinez, who would be first in line of this second group that's saving. And it looks like we've got cars on pit road. That is Jeff Wright and Mark Emerson. They're going to go splash and go. Greg Wellen also came down. Now these guys can go flat out from here, but they're going to go a lap down. So currently in a bad spot to win this thing, but the leaders may have to pit as well. So maybe they're just trying to get a jump on them. and these leaders might have to take a bit more fuel than they will. Those 6-second pit stops for each of those drivers. Very quick in and off of pit road. Just 26 seconds in pit lane for all of them as they're going to try and catch Zach Halpern in this group. And Zach will go flying on past, but that'll make it a 4-car pack. And I think Zach, a pretty clean race car. He's got a little bit of left front damage, but not too bad. So I'm just trying to keep an eye on what it's going to take for this second group to get up there and race for the win, as now Garrett Kite has gotten to the lead of group number 2, but they are 34 seconds back now, 35, and still yet to pick up the pace. They're about 10 to 12 miles an hour slower on average than these top 3 who are just going for it now, 36 seconds ahead. But they will most likely have to make another stop. If they're on pit road for 26 seconds, how much do you lose getting down onto the pit lane? How much do you lose getting off of pit lane? .37.5 seconds now. This continues to tick upwards more and more. It may not be the move. They may not be able to make it. Or they may not be able to catch back up even if these leaders pit, because you can see here are the leaders. Just less than 10 seconds behind them. I think when this all cycles out, these guys will still have the race lead if they just come for a splash and go, because they aren't going to make it. There's no way they can make it from here. It would be 31 laps of fuel while leading, and I just don't see it happening. But Garrett Kite, he's also in danger potentially. It'll be 27 laps for him, but he's now out in front, and they are not picking up the pace. Still 185 miles an hour for this group, and 192, 193. The gap, 41.2 seconds. They are just 4 seconds away from lapping this other group. And it'll be coming down to 10 to go here in just a couple of laps. And this pack is running 3 seconds a lap slower. They are really going to have to get rolling. And they have picked up the pace now, 189, 190. They are starting to steam forward. As here come the leaders on the pit road. See if any of them got a speeding penalty. As Connor Horn into his box. There goes Yusuf Ghali, Jeremy Miller as well. We'll see where they cycle out, but it's just going to be a 6-second stop. Lane Sulfridge also came down. And this is what I'm talking about, just 6 seconds. It's only 25 seconds or so on pit road. And here comes the other pack now up to speed, 190, 192. I still think they're going to be behind. Now through the tri-oval, Connor Horn in 1 and 2. These guys can still push it. They can go get back up to speed. Out of turn 2. Here comes Garrett Kite just into turn number 1. That gap is going to probably be right around 10 seconds. They saved for about 3 laps too long. And I think the Toyotas are still going to get them. But they are all by themselves now. So it could come down to the last few laps. It's now 9 seconds the difference. 8.5 seconds. So it is ticking down. But they're going to have to push even harder in this second pack. They're going to have to really go for it. And if they maintain this pace, they won't get there. They're actually losing time now. The top 3 running 192, 193. And then these guys right around 190. There goes Bailey Turner. He's going to jump out of line. He'll get in behind AJ Stravato and between himself and Ben Bafford. The top 3 have absolutely nailed the strategy. Whereas the rest of this group, they've saved so much fuel and just lost way too much time, and they are still losing time. The leader's over 200 miles an hour. These guys right around 185. $15 miles an hour slower, in the gap once again climbing over 10 seconds. So these top three driving away, and unless we get a yellow flag, it's going to be one of these drivers. Or if they're all involved, then it's going to be none of these drivers. But under 10 to go. It is Connor Horn, Yusuf Ghali, and Jeremy Miller. Connor looking for his 6th win of the season. Could potentially earn himself the regular season championship by winning. And this group back here, they're still not picking it up enough. They're still 2 or 3 miles an hour slower. It looks like Alec Martinez has Mayato behind him, and now they may start to dial it up, but it might be too late. They're 12 seconds back. And yeah, these top three absolutely driving away. 195 through the turns. The pack behind them, 195 on the straights. And the other group that pit, that is Mark Emerson, Greg Wellen, Jeff Wright. Those guys all right on the outside of the top 10, but they might catch up to this next group. They're only about 5 or so seconds behind. They might catch up to them and might be able to gain a few spots at the very end of this race, so we'll keep an eye on that. And Joe Stafford has brought it down pit road. So he will surrender a spot on the lead lap into his box there just for a splash and go, I think. Here come the leaders now. So yeah, the 57 will fall off the lead lap after a very strong run. Strategy just not quite on his side here in this race. Oh, and he's struggling coming off of pit road. Almost loops it right in front of the race leaders, but good job to hang on to that car. As we're coming back to 5 to go. And it is just 3-car Toyota breakaway. Alec Martinez, 13.5 seconds back. Is not going to get there unless we get a yellow flag. These guys might start fighting for position, and they look like they are, as Alec Martinez trying to break the draft or something. I don't really know what he's doing, but he is weaving back and forth. Ben Bafford starts to close up on that high side now, but no momentum up there. Here goes Alec, going to look to the go high, and AJ going to pull underneath him. Here comes Angelo Ronis on the pit road. 2 cars up high, 6 cars down low in this pack. It's going to be all for naught. The top 3 are still driving away. 14.5 seconds now. And the question is, do these guys even have enough fuel to make it? They may not make it. I think Alec Martinez, he's concerned that he won't make it. He's really dropped off the pace, about 10 miles an hour further off the pace, and continuing to lose some time. 4 laps to go for Connor Horn, Yusuf Ghali, and Jeremy Miller. Who's going to take the win? For Connor, it'd be his 6th. For either of these other two, it'd be their 1st this year. Yusuf, of course, the reigning champion of the Virtual Racing League, still looking for that race win in 2021. After winning the last 2 in 2020, he's still yet to find victory lane. Daytona could be a great place to change the tide and build that momentum going into the playoffs. He's already locked in. Jeremy Miller, a little blink right there. Who's going to go with who? These teammates working together at this point. How about this? Mayato and Stravato starting to drive away from the rest of the pack. Garrett Kite, Bailey Turner, Lane Sulfridge. So Garrett actually stuck between a couple of lap cars right here. And everybody else has dropped even farther back. Mark Emerson, Greg Wellen, and these guys closing into the picture. They could earn themselves some top 5s if they continue up with this kind of speed. As Mayato and Stravato bring it to pit lane. 3 laps to go, and they're on pit road. Disaster for those two. The strategy gone all wrong. What they had to do was just drive faster. They just had to catch up to these guys and then go on a similar strategy to them. It would have worked out. But they're going to end up a lap down. Here goes Connor Horn, Yusuf Ghali, Jeremy Miller into turn 1. They'll be coming back to the white flag this time. Nobody else in sight. Mark Emerson is 24 seconds back with Greg Wellen on his tail. Alec Martinez in 6th. Ben Bafford, Jeff Wright. Some of those guys saving fuel. But Mark Emerson in that 4th position, a half lap down. That is absolutely not what you expect to see here at Daytona. But the top 3 got the strategy right. Here they come to the white flag. Just Jeremiah Vincent right there in front of them. He could be a little bit of a factor as they get down the front stretch towards turn number 1. Where does he go? He'll go to the outside lane. No concern there. A white flag in the air for the Toyota drivers out in front. Who is going to end up with the victory? Is it going to be Connor Horn with his 6th win? When do they make the move? Here comes Yusuf to the back bumper of the 67. Maybe dragging the brakes a little bit. Connor goes to the high side. Here comes Yusuf and Jeremy Miller down low. Connor able to hold him off for the moment. When do they start to make that move? Here goes Yusuf. Looks high. Now going to cut back down low. A little bit of a bump there. Going to go back high again. Connor trying to block him all the way to the wall. Jeremy Miller coming through. They're going to take each other out. Connor Horn going to win at Daytona. His 6th win of the season, blocking his teammates, able to hold him off. And they take each other out. Mark Emerson all the way back here in 4th. Here's another battle in and of itself. I see Alec Martinez maybe losing fuel pressure in that car. But here comes Mark Emerson, going to try and hang on for 4th. Greg Wellen going to challenge to his outside. Drag race, that's going to be Greg Wellen in 4th. What a drive for the 94. He'll end up in 4th position, but Connor Horn wins the race in an incredible last lap finish. Let's go back and take a look at this. Let's go to the overhead and try and understand what happened here. Connor Horn, though, through 3 and 4, you see he was about a half lane up. They couldn't go underneath him. The 54 gives him a tap out of the corner. Going to go high. Connor really aggressively blocked there. Yusuf tried to get back to him. There goes Jeremy looking at the inside. And it was too much contact. They lost too much speed. And Connor held him off. What an incredible little battle there. And Connor Horn, your race winner here at Daytona. What an incredible finish. And Jeremy Miller and Yusuf Ghali so close there at the end, 2nd and 3rd. And Haystack wins don't guarantee you into the playoffs. It is just points here in the Virtual Racing League. So those guys, we're all fighting for spots and playoff points there. But Jeremy Miller, trying to see where he is. He's too far back coming into tonight's race, and then Yusuf was already locked in. So 2 of those drivers moving on to the playoffs. One of them looking for a win, couldn't get there, but what a drive, what a finish. And we'll be right back after a quick commercial break.
V-Speed is proud to be partnered with Below the Double Yellow podcast, a podcast for NASCAR fans by NASCAR fans. Listen to Nick and Joe discuss all the latest on-track action, available on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. V-Speed is also proud to present the 2021 Below the Double Yellow Cup Series, brought to you by the American Trucking Association, starting January 14th, 8:25 p.m. Eastern Time, Thursdays at twitch.tv/VSpeedSim.
Welcome back to Daytona International Speedway, where your race winner, Connor Horn, will be joining us here in the booth. Connor Horn, Adam in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
10-4, Adam.
Well, Connor, what a finish right there, holding off your teammates. You guys nailed the strategy, and you had the whole field beat. What was it like there with 2 against 1, really, coming down in that final stretch?
That was crazy. I knew I had better fuel mileage than the rest of the field on the first of the 3 final runs, but no one really went that far. Me and Zach stayed out. The only one who stayed out with us was Greg, and he was far ahead and got hung out. So me, Zach took 4 and probably shouldn't have. We lost a draft, me, him, and Greg, but me, Zach Halper, and Greg Willen, we worked really well together to get back into a draft. So I gotta thank Greg and my teammate Zach, because without them, I wouldn't have been able to get back up there. It's a shame Zach lost a draft after that, but we made sure we made it up to him. So we got back to the pack, and Jeremy and Yusuf figured out how to tandem pretty well, and they had it figured out when no one else did. So I told them, hey, you should tandem on your in lap so you get a gap, and I'll take 2 and catch up to y'all. So we did that. We all came out together. Jeff came out with us, he was damaged, so we blew by him, and after everyone else cycled through, we had a big lead. And they were only 2.5 seconds behind me, Yusuf and Jeremy, but I guess they thought that they lost the race and that they weren't going to get us. So Alec and them decided to save hard, and in doing that, saving hard, by the time it was 10 laps to go and we were getting ready to pit, we were pretty much lapping them. So it was kind of obvious to us that we pit before we catch them, so no funny business happened. So we did that, took about 7 gallons, and we were 10 seconds ahead of them when we got out of the pit. So it was just, at that point, just ride for 10 laps, and then we'll race for it at the very end, and that's what we did. So I knew Yusuf was going to try to get me. He wanted to win. He hasn't won, but I kind of knew what he was going to do. He started lifting down the backstretch, and I just got out of his draft, so he didn't get a run on me, or just didn't stay in my draft. So he started catching me into 3, so he got close to my bumper, closer than he wanted. And then he tried making the move to the top, because if he stayed behind me, he was toast. And I blocked him, kind of walled him, but at that point, we were far enough ahead where even if we wrecked, we'll spin across the line 1, 2, 3 in whatever order. So we just kind of winged it at the end there. I'm lucky my blocks worked, and we won.
Yeah, definitely. We're some intense blocks and intense moves right there out of turn number 4, but obviously experience playing a big role in that, and you come away with the race win, your 6th of the season. Going to put you very close to winning that regular season championship, but 6 wins. Give us a quick summary of the year so far, or this season so far for you, and headed into the playoffs.
It's been pretty crazy. Didn't race Michigan. I felt like, won Dover. I felt like me and Jeremy could have won Talladega if the internet didn't drop. I felt like I could have won almost every single race. The only one that I don't think I had a chance at was really Sonoma and Darlington, because I didn't run, and trying to think of the other one I didn't run. I don't think
last week, right?
I didn't run the Roval. I don't know if I could have won that. Keith was pretty fast, but there's a lot of good fast people on the road courses. But other than that, I feel like I've been in contention to win almost every single race. So it's been a pretty crazy season. And after the Roval, I thought AJ had it, but he finished 10th because I don't think he made it on fuel. And I made sure to pull off those blocks to get the win and max points. I just wish I could have got more stage points, but I couldn't. At the end of the stage, I couldn't get a run, and they wrecked anyway. So I hope it was enough, because I know AJ got stage points, but that was a really clutch win. If it gets me, that's cool, but it is what it is if I didn't.
Yeah, AJ ended up 10th. We'll have to see how the points all filter out. I don't think we have the live points just yet, but either way, 6 wins this year, and tonight, you had to come from farther back. Not as big a deal on these super speedways, but still, you navigate the field, you navigate the strategy, you end up on top once again. Anybody you want to give a shout out to for tonight's victory?
Well, first off, Zach Halpern and Greg Wellen, like I talked about, because if we didn't hook up, we were 4 seconds behind the pack after we pit the first time, and us 3 made it back up there. So I got to shout out and thank those 2, and obviously Jeremy Miller and Yusuf Ghali. We worked really well together. We nailed the strategy, and we pulled away, and it was a easy Toyota sweep of the podium. It was too easy after we did that. So It's just it was a really crazy race. I really thought the Long Tech guys had control of it, and then they lost control of it themselves, and it seemed like no one else could do that other than I think it was just going to be between those Long Tech guys and us Toyota guys. And when they kind of wrecked themselves, we Jeremy and Yusuf took control, and I was lucky enough to join them on the 2-tire stop. And I wish Zach could have been up there to help us and get us 1 through 4. But this is pretty cool too. I'm glad we took the fight to everyone else tonight.
Yeah, definitely took the fight to him, and you came out on top. So that was apparent. 25 seconds back to the next closest car. You guys definitely had it down tonight here at Daytona. So congrats on another victory this season, and we'll see you in a couple weeks when the playoffs start.
Tip 4. I'll see you there, Adam.
All right, Connor Horn, your race winner here tonight. His 6th win of the season. Absolutely crazy. Let's go to second place driver now. It's going to be Yusuf Ghali. And I might have just gotten a message about who's going to make it into the playoffs. So looks like I did get that. So we'll kind of run through the standings there. But let's pull up a second place finisher. That's going to be Yusuf Ghali. Adam in the V-Speed booth. You get a copy. Yusuf, you there? Yep, I got you now. Well, Yusuf, last-ditch effort there out of turn number 4. Almost got the run on your teammate. Describe those, that strategy there in the last little bit there in those last couple laps. When did you plan to make that move?
We all agreed that we just go for it like coming out of 4 at the earliest, just so that we could secure that 1, 2, 3. Because the goal for each of us was to win, but at the end of the day, we were just trying to wax the field basically, and we accomplished that. So that's the best we could have done, and we didn't care who won.
Yeah, waxing the field is definitely the right term there. I know. I just talked about it with Connor. You guys were 25 seconds ahead of 4th place. When did you guys decide on that strategy in that run? Was it something you kind of had in mind from the get-go, or how did that all work out?
It wasn't until the second to last stop that we realized we were just pulling by every single guy that we were going around. So we were like, wow, we've got 5 seconds on the pack. Let's just push as hard as possible, build a 10-15 second lead, try and pit. We could be conservative on the pits if we have to, and we'll still have a good lead, and we can just race it out to the finish. But then we realized that everyone else was trying a different strategy that in hindsight for them it wouldn't work, because there was I think 6 laps that they had to save, and with us pushing as hard as we could and us pitting, there was no way they were going to be able to beat us there. So not only did the strategy play a big part, but like I said, teamwork was probably what won the race.
Yeah, definitely looked like you guys worked perfectly together out there, and still looking for that first race win, this season. But man, what a turnaround from really the first half of the regular season to now. You've been on a huge momentum streak, lots of great finishes, and how does it feel with this momentum headed towards the playoffs?
Goal is still going to be the same for the playoffs. If I can get Connor and I to finish 1-2 at Las Vegas, if we both make the Final Four, that's my goal. I'm not here to win the championship with screwing my teammate over or anything. So if he's the faster guy, I'm willing to finish second to him and see how it goes.
Yeah, definitely been a good turnaround for you, though, and you've had a lot more speed, a few opportunities to win some races here recently, and we'll see if you can grab one early on in the playoffs. Definitely looks like you're trending in that direction. So another podium finish, a second place tonight after starting 9th. You lead 21 laps. And anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Just mainly Jeremy and Connor. I don't think there's another person or another group of people that would have been able to do that. So being teammates with them is probably the luckiest thing I could have done for this league.
Awesome, Yusuf. Definitely put on a good show for us, and you definitely ended up dominating with Team Toyota out there tonight. So congrats on that. We'll catch you in a couple weeks at the start of the playoffs.
Thank you.
All right, Yusuf Ghali, second place. Let's go to third place finisher. Their other teammate up here on the podium. Jeremy Miller, Adam in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, I've gotten through talking to your other 2 teammates. You were kind of the third one in line there coming to the finish. Did you have any plans to try and get around those guys, or was it just whoever made the move first, you were going to try and go with them?
I was hoping to let them wreck each other and win it. I mean, I really didn't care which one of us won the race. All 3 of us won that race in my eyes. I mean, you got Connors, one of the best drivers on the sim out there right now, and he's about to start his road to pro second round tomorrow. So gonna be there with him. We're wishing him good luck in that. Hopefully he gets advances to the Xfinity cars. Yusuf is also one of the better drivers on the sim, and I consider myself to be the best plate driver on the sim. And I think today was just a combination of all three of those things.
Yeah, definitely dominant by the Toyota drivers here tonight. 25 seconds back to fourth place. No contest, really. You guys had the strategy perfect on that last run. And I know you were outside of the playoff bubble, coming into tonight's race, so it wasn't going to be able to make it in. But, with the playoffs moving forward, your teammates in there, what's the plan to kind of build some momentum through those races?
Plans for one of them to win it, obviously. I mean, I have no doubt one of them will, honestly. I mean, they're two of the absolute best drivers out there. And if one of them doesn't win, it will be a shock to me. I think we'll see both of them in the Final Four. So, which one gets it done, I don't know, but definitely one of them will.
Yeah, and you've been no slouch yourself. A lot of good finishes here, in the second half of the regular season. I think you missed a few races. That's mainly why you're out of it. But definitely a good showing once again here. You were up towards the front most of the race. Started third, end up third, and you lead 3 laps. So lucky threes there for the number 30. Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
I want to give a shout out to his Long Tech cars. They're back at their cars said the only thing stronger than family is a green lawn. The only thing stronger than a green lawn today was a Toyota Camry, clearly. If they took each other out and there was nothing left to compete with us three out there, we wake up and we piss excellence. We're the best there is. It's pretty simple. And I'd like to thank my family who watches every week.
Awesome, Jeremy. Well, congrats on the podium here. We'll catch you in a couple weeks at the start of the playoffs.
Thank you.
All right, Jeremy Miller, obviously very happy there to end up on the podium with his teammates. A lot of fun watching those guys out there tonight. They absolutely got the strategy down perfect, and were able to take it to the rest of the field. But let's go through the rest of the results and see where all your favorite drivers ended up tonight. We'll run through the standings and let you know who made it in to the playoffs after tonight's race. So through the rest of the field, we did have 18 lead changes, but Connor Horn takes the lead at the end, and he holds on to it over his teammates Yusuf Ghali and Jeremy Miller, who finished second and third. Greg Wellen, a distant fourth, but a great run for him after starting in 19th. Mark Emerson, also a top 5 here tonight. Ben Bafford finishes 6th. Alec Martinez 7th. Jeff Wright 8th. Garrett Kite, who wins stage 1, he'll finish in 9th. And AJ Stravato, 1 lap down, he'll round out the top 10. In 11th, it was Keith Maiato, 12th. Caleb Hattery, 13th. Zach Halpern, 14th. Eddie Trejo, 15th. Joe Stafford, 16th. Lane Sulfridge, 17th. Bailey Turner, 18th. Angelo Ronis, 19th. Jeremiah Vincent. Rounding out the top 20 is Dylan Parker. Adam Cabot finishes in 21st after leading laps early. Ryan Shelton finishes 22nd. And Elliott Butler rounds out the field in 23rd here tonight. Looking at the points coming into tonight's race, this is how they came in. And the drivers advancing. All right, take a look here and see. It looks like Elliott Butler will make it in, so he will advance. He came in 11th. He'll end up, looks like 10th. 11th looks like Jeremiah Vincent. 12th, maybe Greg Wellen. As it was close between himself and Garrett Kite, and with the way things shook out, it looks like Greg is going to make it in. And so Safe Fair is out. Move Elliott Butler up to 10th. 11th was Jeremiah Vincent. And Greg Wellen, the race winner back at iRacing Super Speedway, a top 5 here tonight, might just get him into the playoffs. That is tentative, pending any penalties or just review there. But that is what we're expecting the results to be. We do want to thank you so much for tuning in here tonight on V-Speed. Appreciate everyone who comes out to watch each and every week. We are going to be off next Wednesday, but we'll be back here on Tuesday of next week with the Below the Double Yellow Cup Series return. Starting at Daytona, of all places. We'll be doing the dual qualifying races there. You won't want to miss that. That'll be a lot of fun. And then the next week, it'll be Tuesday for the Daytona race and the Below the Double Yellow Cup Series, and the start of the playoffs in the Virtual Racing League is in a couple weeks. You won't want to miss any of that action. You can tune in right here on YouTube. You can also tune in on Twitter. We're broadcasting over there each race, so you can check us out on that platform. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch as well as our website, vspeedsim.com. Thank you so much for tuning in here tonight. Hope you all enjoyed, and have a great evening.